back to the channel. I'm Sunny and this is Someone Else's Cloud. So I thought it was probably about time that I did a channel update video. I still don't know how I feel about these because, you know, I feel like it's just a rant session where I'm just talking about things I'm planning. Like, who really wants to hear this? I don't know. But I actually got positive feedback from my last one back in January where people said, welcome back. Even people that I work with and people that I know said welcome back. So, you know, that was great, but I still am a bit unsure if I should create more of these videos. So if you think I should, post comments below and let me know. So funny enough, this is another video where I just got back from Canberra last week for another 40th and it was Mother's Day. So I had a fly in, fly out back in Canberra. So that was great. And I've got a little new friend called Charlie. So he's a bit of a menace at times, as you can see. Look at him. He was just munching on some plants before. I don't want him to get poisoned. There you go, Charlie. What's been happening? So work-wise, last year, I was working as part of the managed services team. So I was a consumer of the platform and I generally operated within a subscription. So as you can imagine, subscription is quite restricted, I guess. And probably mid-January to the end of January, I moved to the platform team. I've learned a lot about managing Azure subscriptions at scale, learning more about management groups, custom roles. Also learned more about networking because, you know, when you're within a subscription, you're just carving out subnets. So when I moved to the platform team, I got more exposure to actual routing as well as Azure firewalls and a whole bunch of other things. So although I was learning a lot, I felt like I was probably not being challenged enough and in the areas I wanted to be challenged in. So just having casual chats with other people in other teams, as I do, I realized that working with Terraform originally was not somewhere where I wanted to be because I thought working with Terraform would limit my skill sets. But then I realized after talking to someone in the Terraform team that they need to understand services end to end, whether that be Azure or AWS, because they're developing modules around it. And the modules that we develop at work are generally around how you deploy a service with a whole bunch of security controls in them as well. So obviously to develop something like that, you need to know a service end to end. And then I realized that a lot of the other work they were doing was like trying to scale out Terraform Enterprise and overcome the challenges and the limitations of the platform in itself to build some smarts and use more container-based load balancing, let's say. So I thought, you know, that sounds actually quite interesting. And as I've mentioned in the past, inefficiencies frustrate me. So that's why I always try to put standards, frameworks, add consistency so we can scale out our teams and then we can focus on the more interesting stuff. So then I realized that I can solve these inefficiency problems with automation, Terraform, you know, using more container-based sort of workloads. And I thought, why not join the TFE team? So I spoke to my managers and I'm thankful for being in a company that supports you know, the direction that I want to go in without burning any bridges or anything. So I'm still on the platform team. I'm just in a different squad now. So I'll be starting in that team this week. And I'm actually quite excited because there's going to be a big challenge because, you know, I'm going to learn more automation, more around Terraform Enterprise, which I don't actually know much about the backend services, as well as potentially I'm going to have to go learn AWS because the Terraform Enterprise solution lives in AWS, not to mention where I can sort of get more involved with more automation, whatever that means these days, to resolve issues and make them scalable. So hopefully it's the right decision, but you know, you need to find these opportunities out and you got to walk into the fire rather than being, I guess, you know, afraid of making changes or else you just fall behind. So anyways, wish me luck. We'll see how we go. Okay, so let's talk about my last few videos. So back in January, I mentioned I was going to go more mainstream. And that's because creating these technical videos, they take too long. As where if I create these other videos along the way, I can hopefully fill up, I guess, more of these videos and then have, say, one technical video or larger technical video per month. So that's obviously still not going well because I've been slacking and obviously changes at work, motivation, weather changing, every other excuse under the sun. So anyways, let's talk about this video. So I created this channel. I labeled it as a podcast, video podcast, But what I've come to realize is that this is really a YouTube channel, and the things that go on the podcast platforms should be more audio orientated. So these podcast sessions that I'll start doing, who knows how regular at this point, I will put them only on the podcasting platforms as well as videos on YouTube. And these channel updates will also go to both platforms. But all technical videos will now be on YouTube, because there's no point in you listening to a technical video without watching the demos, because a lot of them are quite visual, or actually all of them are. So I had Jan de Dobelier, all the way from Belgium. He's the creator of Oh My Posh, and he gave up his time to basically chat to me. I basically went back and forth with him on Twitter, and he gave up some of his time to have a discussion with me. And the discussion went really well, actually, because you'd be surprised. Talking to just a camera by yourself is super awkward, because there's no energy, there's no nothing. So if you haven't noticed, I'm actually standing right now, and I've got my anti-fatigue mat, and I think standing and talking is actually better than sitting down, especially when you're by yourself. Surprisingly, the video went really well. There was no real awkward moments. I was stressing a bit because I had a bunch of questions, and within 7 minutes, when I had 30 minutes, I nearly cleared out all of my questions. I had like 2 left. So I had to actually improvise and then expand on what he was talking about, ask more questions, and it went really well, actually. And if you watch the video, I'll post it here. I actually left a part at the end where we wound up, closed, we decided to say bye, but then we kept on talking after that. So that was pretty cool. I like to understand everything end to end, because I solve problems, right?
That's a really good mentality. A lot of people miss that. That's also something I could have stated, is that, understanding how things work, not just your part, but everything, really helps in doing a better job. It really helps. People often forget that because they're really focused on that. I only do websites. I'm sorry, you can't only do websites, for example.
No, definitely.
There's HTTP traffic.
I'll probably do more of those. We'll see how we go. But if you're interested in sharing something with the wider community, let me know. So comment below or send me an email at sunny@someoneelsescloud.com. So let's go on to the next thing. So back in January, I talked about rebranding again. So surprise, I rebranded again. But I did probably say at that time that I was rushing it, and I'll probably do something different down the track. So anyways, I basically saw someone make a sort of collage, sort of animation type thing. And that's where I got this idea from my current intro that you would have saw at the start of this video. So I also created one for the podcast as well. Why create 2? Why not create 2? I don't know. So I called the other thing Someone Else's Podcast, and I put brought to you by Someone Else's Cloud. And then I have this intro for this video, which is Someone Else's Cloud. But if you look at the details, watch it in slow motion. There's so many little details in it. But the Someone Else's Cloud one is, it emphasizes on a lot of different tech, as where the podcast one sort of emphasizes more around people. Now, what I've also done is created some 4K wallpapers with the new theme, as you can see here and here. And then I also, because I like to do things overkill, I don't know why, but I've also got a mobile wallpaper as well. So they'll be on the website. If you want to download it, add some color in your life, I'll put the link below if you want some wallpaper, or if you want to put some wallpaper on your phone. Okay, so videos I've been working on. So that reminds me, I've actually got a video. I've edited it to about 80% now, and it was going to be titled My Journey to Becoming a Cloud Engineer, which really just talks about my experience from when I started in Melbourne to where I am now. Okay, so fast forward, and I moved to Melbourne, and I came to the Big Smoke, and this is probably where my career really started developing in tech. Even signing up to LinkedIn, I knew no one in Canberra that was on LinkedIn, and I was like, what's this LinkedIn thing?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have 0 followers on LinkedIn. Here's the only problem. I don't know what LinkedIn is.
Yeah, I know. I guess the vibe in Melbourne was very different to Canberra. If I stayed in Canberra, I probably would have just stayed in the public service and climbed some sort of corporate ladder.
2, 1. Okay. All right, here we go. You are going to learn to be more professional, Luke.
And I don't know if people want to see it. I just figured people don't want to. I don't know. I thought it might be boring. So if you want to see it, post comments below. Let me know, and then I'll finish editing it. Then I'll publish it. Okay, and the next videos, I've mentioned this several times.
This was a document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yes.
This is a document you signed.
For the third time, that is my signature, yes.
And that was a document you signed in August of 2016, correct?
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before? Yes, that's the fourth.
Well, I wanted to make clear that you signed that in the summer.
So Azure Monitor / monitoring as code. So I've actually started working on the video, finally. But what I'm doing right now is trying to write the Terraform code around it. But what I've also realized, now I don't know if this is true or not, I didn't look too hard, but I don't think there's actually a Terraform module to create Azure alerts or anything out there. Now, I was thinking about maybe creating a prototype for the demo because, you know, it makes my life easier anyway, and then people might find it useful out there. But we'll see how we go. If I do create the module, I was thinking about creating a video to show you how I create the module, because show you, you know, the thinking and the logic of creating a module. If so, let me know, post comments below. If you've got a Azure Alert / Azure Monitor module, also let me know. Just post comments below, send me an email, sunny@someoneelsescloud.com. So I'm working on that, and so it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation. We'll talk about all points of Azure Monitor, you know, how you get data in, how you alert on data, how you report on data, how you potentially visualize data. I probably don't want to go too much into that because they'll be endless with workbooks or dashboards, but I'll probably show a little snippet of that. So that's the current technical video that I'm working on. I've gone on about securing storage accounts, which I actually started last year sometime, and I still haven't, you know, aired that video or shot it. So I'll probably do that soon. And they're probably the key videos that I'm working on right now, because I try not to have too many ideas, because, you know, what do they say, like analysis paralysis. So if I get too many ideas, I generally don't execute. So sometimes I'm quite reactive, I just execute. Sometimes I stew on some, like the Azure Monitor one. So I still don't know what content I want to create. So you know, if there's things that you want me to talk about, post them all below. Okay, so I'll finish up on this. So a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from Microsoft, and it was about my certification renewals. Now, if you didn't know, last year, Microsoft changed their certification structure. So if you've been certified, you basically every year, you have an opportunity to recertify your certificate, and it's basically free, it's online, and you can pretty much sit it every 24 hours until you pass for, I think, up to 3 months. And it's also based on more of a loyalty type system. So there's no cameras, there's no exam rooms or anything. You can just do it in your own time, and you can actually have other things open. Now, for me, you know, I would still do it the right way because that's just how I am. But yeah, I'm quite surprised that they're opening up these certifications. But I mean, I guess if you've done the first exam, that shows you're competent enough to do it. And they're probably just trying to make sure the professionals out there have still relevant knowledge on what's actually happening. So maybe it's a good thing if you look at it that way. I do, because I hate exams, and not having to do a whole full-blown exam again every year or every second year is great. So I'm deciding if I should create videos on them. I don't know if really there's any point, because there's real no pressure for you to pass the exam. And when you go look at what's required, they give you all the dot points on what you need to learn on. So I'll probably just talk about my experience on them, but I don't know if I'll try and do any study guides. And other exams, I'm still trying to decide if I want to do any other exams. You know, everyone's doing this networking exam. So, you know, that's probably somewhere where I need to develop my skill. So I probably will try and do that by the end of the year, in the coming months anyway. But we'll see how we go. And if I do, I'll create a video about it. So that's probably about it. So I'm not going to try and rant too long. I try to keep these videos to, you know, under 10 minutes, hopefully. But yeah, if you've got any questions, post them below. Wallpapers will be posted below. Links to my other videos I spoke about will be here, everywhere, actually down below, I mean. And yeah, so that's about it. So I'm signing out, and I'll catch you later. See ya!
That's one small step for